All right, the next thing we're going to play tonight is Story, Story, Die. So that needs Levi, Hannah, Alex, and Josh.
I love you, Ben!
So the way Story, Story, Die works is I have this neat little bell that is going to kill them. But wait, there's more. They'll be telling a story, started with the famous 3 words, once upon a time. Look at the suggestion from you guys. At any time, I could switch the person telling the story. They get a 2-word lead, which means like if Josh, you say something.
And then the giant ran away.
And he went to Alaska, and then he made lots of friends there because he was in college.
Yeah. So say and he was the 2 words. She could repeat and he. From that, yeah, they'll die if I ding this and they break the rules. Get your suggestion, someone.
Can I get a suggestion for a book you might not find in schools today?
Marshmallows!
I'll come back to that. Oh, come on. The marshmallows that went home. Okay, I like that. We're going to be telling the story of the marshmallows that went home.
All right, Levi, you start us off with the marshmallows that went home.
Once upon a time, there were 4 marshmallows in a bag. There was marshmallow number 1, marshmallow number 2, marshmallow number 3, and Peter. Now,
These four marshmallows were the best of friends with each other because they had known each other because they had been produced in the same bag together. And they had one dream, to go home and not get eaten.
Josh.
But there was a giant who loomed on the field, the horizon. His name was Gary, and he didn't work on Saturdays. Which made today all the more dangerous because it was in fact a Saturday.
The marshmallows, knowing it was Saturday, knew that today was their last chance, because tomorrow they'd be dead because they were eaten. So they decided to try and bust out of their bag, and they did this by deciding to inflate. Yeah, Levi.
Marshmallow number 1, 2, 3, and Peter all decided to just inhale and exhale as fast as possible to inflate the bag and pop, and they would be free into the world outside of the clutches of the evil, evil, lazy person, Alex.
But then they remembered the log volumes or something, and inflated the bag past what was already, so they knew they had to heat up the bag, and they knew that they could do this by rolling it onto the stove. So
they just got the little marshmallow bodies together and just started tumbling towards the stove because they were on the counter. But then they ran into another problem. Darn, we actually have to turn on the stove now.
Josh.
Wait, said Peter. I've got my pocket knife. I could just use that. He said, Peter, stop. Just stop. Going to the stove, and that's that. So they kept pushing
And pushing, and when they got to the edge, they looked down at the burner, and Peter said, "Guys, I actually don't think this is a good idea."
they said, "Shut up, Peter! You're the dumb one, shut up!" And so the other marshmallows silencing Peter as he deserved.
Hannah.
And they were like,
Alex.
And they were like, "Hey guys, so what's the best way for me to die?"
Peter's pocket.
Suffocate marshmallows.
I like Peter's pocket knife. Hey, Peter, good to see you. Oh, it's gooey and tasty.
All right, Hannah, resume.
So they just continued going along with the plan because Peter was an idiot. So then they just decided that they were just going to actually leap onto the part that like turns on the burner. I don't really know how that works. So they were just like, all right, cool. So they just decided to go in their little gigantic bag that was closed up and somehow only had 4 marshmallows in it and jump onto the stove.
Levi.
Luckily,
Hannah.
this worked and it was awesome. They turned on the burner. This blue flame came up and it was
Josh.
awesome.
But they started to get really hot, and Peter was like, man, it's pretty warm in here. And they're like, it's always warm. We're marshmallows, and we don't have a good sense of what temperature is.
The 2-word lead is now removed. Resume.
So they kept going, and they realized the bag was starting to melt and fuse, and it was starting to crumple around them.
Levi.
Ooh, it got hot in that bag. The marshmallows, sweating and dripping with goo, looked at Peter and said, "Wow, Peter, you might have been the smart one. And Peter said, you're damn right I was. Decided to leave the bag, jumping out of the hole that was made by the melting bag, tumbling off the stove onto the floor.
Hannah.
But then they ran into another problem. Gary started to come into the room, and he was like, dude, Marshmallow's lit.
And he bent down and he looked at the marshmallows that were scattered all over. He goes, man, it's really weird. They only sell marshmallows in bags of 4 at a time. Look for it. And so Gary started to grab for them.
And then he was like, oh my gosh, are there burrs?
Is that a pocket knife? And he went down and picked it up. It was really
That's not related to the burners.
How did I die?
Hyperbaric chamber.
I entered a pressure chamber. Wow, they have these in the mall. That's cool.
Hannah, what are you doing with the thing?
So Peter was like, wait guys, I have an awesome idea. What if we just like pretend to not be marshmallows? And then Marshmallow 1, 2, and 3 was like, that's an awesome idea. Sure, why not?
Josh.
And so Gary looked at these marshmallows and he was like, hey, where'd those marshmallows go? All I see is a duck. And Peter was like, quack, quack! They were like, quack, quack! Walking across the floor.
And so they decided that
Hannah.
they were going to go down to the lake because
Hannah.
their new lives were now as ducks. So
Josh.
they
Ran down to the lake, which was right where Gary lived, coincidentally. And they ran a long way, and nothing bad happened to them at all.
Josh.
But then they got to the lake, and they decided, let's jump in and we'll float away and be free. And Peter said, don't like marshmallows like dissolve in water. I don't know a lot about like our anatomy. I ruined it! Alright, how do I die?
You hit the chicken from Legend of Zelda one too many times.
I hit the chicken from Legend of Zelda one too many times. Yeah, I'm playing a fun game. Take that, you little defenseless chicken.
Hannah, please finish up the story.
So anatomically, the marshmallows were still marshmallows, and they were not ducks. So the second that they got into the lake, they were all dead. And it was really sad, but they were also happy because now they didn't have to run from Gary, who they all hated. The end.